Libra. This week reveals how much emotional energy you've been spending, trying to keep situations emotionally balanced that were never balanced to begin with. And the realization arrives quickly. The Sagittarius Full Moon activates your communication sector. Conversations, messages, contracts, decisions, timing, and emotional interpretation. Something said casually may affect you more deeply than expected. A truth surfaces through tone, absence, hesitation, or delayed response. This is not a loud week emotionally. It is a revealing one. You may begin noticing the emotional weight of relationships where you are constantly translating, smoothing, or emotionally buffering other people's inconsistency. And because Venus is now moving through Cancer, your emotional sensitivity around respect and security becomes much stronger. You are no longer satisfied with charm alone. You want emotional sincerity. Mercury entering Cancer also shifts attention toward career, visibility, public image, and long-term direction. You may start questioning whether your current path actually reflects the person you are becoming emotionally. For some Libras, this week creates emotional tension between personal relationships and professional obligations. Someone may want more access to you while your emotional bandwidth continues shrinking. And honestly, your exhaustion has been visible for longer than you realize. Midweek brings an important emotional pause. You may suddenly stop defending someone in your own mind. Stop rationalizing mixed behavior. Stop convincing yourself that emotional confusion is temporary. That shift is subtle, but permanent. Because once clarity enters emotionally, Libra rarely returns to emotional denial for long. Saturn in Aries continues restructuring your relationship dynamics at a deep level. You are learning that harmony built on self-silencing eventually creates resentment underneath the surface. This week proves it. By the weekend, you may become emotionally quieter, more observant, and far less available to people who only seek connection when they need emotional comfort from you. And despite the sadness attached to that realization, there is also relief here. Because your spirit is becoming more selective now. You are beginning to understand that peace cannot survive where reciprocity never existed.
Libra, your tarot card is the Ten of Wands. You have been carrying too much emotionally, and this week makes that impossible to ignore. Responsibilities, emotional labor, obligations, expectations, or unspoken pressures may feel heavier than usual now. But this card is not punishment. It is awareness. You are beginning to recognize which burdens are truly yours, and which ones you accepted simply to keep everything emotionally stable for everyone else. That realization changes your priorities. You are not required to carry every emotional imbalance alone, just because you are capable of doing it gracefully.
Libra, you get hexagram 38. Fire over lake. Opposition. This week highlights emotional differences that can no longer be ignored. But opposition is not always destruction. Sometimes it is clarity. You may realize that someone sees the world differently than you hoped, or that emotional harmony has been maintained through avoidance rather than genuine understanding. That realization may feel sad initially, but it is also freeing. The Ching advises against forcing emotional agreement right now. Respecting emotional truth creates healthier foundations than maintaining artificial peace ever could.
Libra, your rune is Jera. Jera is the rune of cycles, timing, harvest, and long-term consequence. Something you have been emotionally investing in begins showing clearer results now, whether positive or difficult. This rune reminds you that emotional patterns eventually reveal their outcome through repetition. What has been nurtured consistently grows stronger. What has been neglected becomes harder to maintain. Patience matters here. Not everything meaningful unfolds quickly. Jera also brings reassurance that delayed progress is still progress. Trust the larger timing of your emotional life instead of measuring everything by immediate, visible results.
This week carried emotional revelations. Quiet ones, deep ones. The kind that arrive softly at first, and then slowly change the way you see everything afterward. Some connections became clearer, some truths became harder to avoid, and some of you finally stopped asking your heart to remain inside spaces where it no longer feels safe to rest. That realization is painful sometimes, but it is also healing. Leave a comment below and tell me, what emotional realization stayed with you most strongly this week? And if this reading spoke to your spirit, subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next forecast. And please remember to watch your rising sign too. Often your rising sign reveals the emotional undercurrent shaping the events around you.